What if I told you the reason your manifestations are not working has nothing to do with your desire and everything to do with the outdated rules you have been following? What if the problem was never about wanting it enough, visualizing harder, or repeating the right affirmations, but about operating in a way the universe simply does not respond to? Right now, you might be trying to create tomorrow's reality with yesterday's methods, and that is why nothing changes. You see, most manifestation advice you have heard is built on partial truths. It is like being handed a map of a city that only shows a few streets. You can wander for years and never find where you are going. The missing streets on that map, they are the deeper, invisible laws of creation that exist not in the pages of a self-help book, but in the very fabric of reality. And unless you work with them, the results will remain slow, inconsistent, or non-existent. Think back to the times you have tried. You set an intention, you visualized. You repeated it to yourself. You may have even felt a surge of excitement, a sense of certainty. But as the days passed, doubt crept in. The world did not seem to respond, and eventually, you convinced yourself it just was not meant for you. Here is the truth. No one tells you manifestation is not about sending a signal to the universe and waiting for it to deliver. It is not about hoping or begging or thinking positive until something shifts. In fact, most people who approach manifestation like a wish-making game are unknowingly telling the quantum field, the vast, intelligent energy field that makes up all reality, to keep things exactly as they are. Why? Because the universe at its core does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. Your desires may be grand and vivid, but if the energy you embody each day contradicts them, the signal you are sending is scrambled. You cannot broadcast abundance while transmitting lack. You cannot call in love while anchored in loneliness. And here is where the outdated rules mislead you. They teach you to focus on the picture of what you want, the vision board, the mantra, the dream home in your mind, without teaching you how to shift the energetic frequency that your thoughts and emotions are generating in this very moment. It is like trying to tune into a radio station without adjusting the dial. No matter how loudly you demand the song, the static will never give you the music. This is why the old methods fail. They skip over the science of how reality is formed. They ignore the observer effect, the principle in quantum physics that shows your act of conscious observation influences how particles behave. They forget that matter is energy, and that energy responds to the vibration you hold, not just the words you speak. You have been told to act as if, but without understanding how deeply your subconscious programming controls your as if. You have been told to stay positive, but without learning how to dissolve the emotional patterns that keep pulling you back into fear. You have been told to visualize, but without realizing that visualization without alignment is just daydreaming. Here is the shift. Manifestation is not about forcing reality to match your will. It is about aligning your inner state so precisely with your desired reality that the quantum field has no choice but to reflect it back. It is about stepping beyond the surface-level tools and learning how the fabric of reality actually weaves itself around your focus, your frequency, and your presence. So if you have been wondering why you keep hitting the same walls, it is not because you are broken. It is because you have been trying to play a quantum game with Newtonian rules. And once you learn the real mechanics of creation, the ones backed by both science and ancient wisdom, everything changes. The frustration fades. The waiting disappears. You stop trying to manifest and start living in a way where manifestation is simply inevitable. Have you been unknowingly sabotaging your own creations? You are about to find out. To understand why the old ways fail, we first need to uncover what science now knows about the true nature of reality. Imagine this for a moment. Every object, every thought, every person you have ever known is not as solid as it appears. Beneath the surfaces you see, beneath the matter you touch, lies a reality woven not from things, but from energy and probability. It is an unseen field, a living ocean of possibility. and you are immersed in it right now. Modern science has been peering into this invisible realm for over a century, and what it has found is nothing short of extraordinary. At the smallest levels of existence, reality behaves nothing like the fixed, mechanical world we once believed in. Instead, it reveals itself as fluid, dynamic, and deeply responsive to the act of observation. Quantum physics, the branch of science that studies nature at the subatomic level, has shown us that particles are not really things in the way we think of them. They can exist as both a particle and a wave. This is called wave-particle duality. It means that everything has two faces, the visible physical aspect and the invisible energetic potential it emerges from. Until a particle is observed or measured, it does not exist in one place. It exists in many possible states at once, a phenomenon known as superposition. And here is where it gets even more mysterious. The famous double-slit experiment demonstrated that the very act of observation collapses this superposition into a single outcome. In other words, what you look at changes what you see. Your consciousness, your awareness, is not a passive witness. It is an active participant in shaping the world. But quantum discoveries go further. Non-locality, another key principle, reveals that particles can be linked in such a way that a change to one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. This is not just theory, it has been repeatedly observed. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. What it suggests is that separation is an illusion. Everything from the atoms in your body to the stars overhead is connected in a single unified field. Now, ancient spiritual traditions have been saying something remarkably similar for thousands of years. Mystics spoke of the interconnectedness of all life, the idea that the universe is a web of consciousness and energy, where every thought, word, and action ripples outward. Science is now providing the language and experiments to confirm what the mystics always intuited. Think about this in your own life. When you hold a thought, that thought is not just trapped in your mind, it is a vibrational pattern that interacts with this quantum field. When you feel an emotion deeply, you are not just experiencing it privately, you are tuning yourself to a specific frequency within the field. The quantum model suggests that the field responds to your state of being, arranging events, opportunities, and circumstances to match it. Imagine your mind as a stone dropped into a still pond. Every thought, every belief, every intention sends ripples outward. Those ripples do not stop at the edge of your awareness. They extend into the ocean of energy that underlies all reality. Just as a single pebble can send waves across an entire body of water, a single sustained intention can influence the flow of events far beyond what you can see. And yet, most of us were taught to think of the world as fixed, unyielding, and separate from us. We were told that change is slow, that reality operates on rigid cause and effect rules, and that our influence is limited to what we can physically touch or control. But the truth revealed by both science and spirit is that the universe is not a static machine, it is an intelligent, responsive field. This means your role in life is far greater than you have been led to believe. You are not a powerless passenger on a predetermined track. You are a participant in a vast creative process, and the field is always listening, always responding to the signals you send. So here is the deeper question. If reality is this fluid, if it is truly made of infinite potential, then why do so many people keep experiencing the same struggles, the same limitations, year after year? The answer lies in the methods they use to interact with this field, and in the outdated approaches that keep them from accessing its true power. And yet, most manifestation methods still operate as if this ocean does not exist. You have probably been told that if you want something badly enough, you just need to visualize it, think positive, and wait for it to arrive. Maybe you have tried vision boards, written affirmations, or repeated mantras late at night, hoping the universe would hear you. At first it feels exciting. It feels like movement, but after weeks or months the result is often the same. Nothing changes in any lasting way. This is not because you lack discipline. It is not because you are unworthy or unlucky. It is because most of these methods are built on partial truths and incomplete understanding. They work a little sometimes, but they do not go deep enough to shift the foundation of who you are. And unless you shift at that level, the quantum field has no real reason to reorganize itself around your desires. Think of old manifestation techniques like a photograph of a beautiful meal. The image can spark desire. It can even make your mouth water. But no matter how real it looks, you cannot taste it. You cannot be nourished by it. This is the trap of surface-level tools. They engage your conscious mind without transforming your deeper energetic state. A vision board, for example, can be inspiring, but if the energy you hold while looking at it is one of longing or lack, the signal you send into the quantum field is not, "I have this, but I do not have this yet." The field does not respond to pictures. It responds to frequency. Forced affirmations work the same way. Repeating, "I am wealthy," when your subconscious is still soaked in memories of struggle and scarcity is like trying to paint over rust without clearing it first. The words might look fresh for a while, but underneath, the old structure is still corroded, and eventually that corrosion shows through. Some methods rely heavily on acting as if, pretending you already have what you want. This can be powerful in short bursts, but without emotional alignment, it is just performance. You may smile and speak confidently, but deep down, if you are still vibrating with fear, doubt, or resentment, that is the signal the field picks up. The universe does not take orders from your words, it mirrors your true state. Here is where the gap lies. Most old methods focus on the content of your thoughts, not the quality of your consciousness. They teach you to arrange mental images, repeat phrases, or imagine outcomes, but they do not show you how to shift into the actual frequency where those outcomes already exist. They do not teach you how to dissolve the subconscious patterns that constantly pull you back into the same emotional loops. It is like trying to access the internet with a dial-up connection when fiber optics are available. You can connect, but it is slow, inconsistent, and easily interrupted. Meanwhile, the quantum field is always transmitting at light speed, but to receive clearly you must tune your inner receiver to match. The problem is compounded by the way we're taught to think about time and causality. Old manifestation advice often assumes that your desires are far away in the future and that your job is to slowly work toward them. But quantum physics shows us something different. In the field of infinite possibilities, all outcomes already exist. You do not need to create them, you need to align with them. This means the real work is not in making something happen, but in becoming the version of yourself for whom that reality is natural and inevitable. Without this shift, you can visualize forever and never cross the threshold into true manifestation. So why cling to these old tools? Because they are familiar. They feel safe. They give you a sense of control, even if that control is mostly an illusion. But the truth is, they keep you on the surface when the power lies in the depths. The moment you step beyond the outdated methods, you stop chasing your desires and start embodying them. You stop sending mixed signals to the universe and start broadcasting a clear, coherent frequency. And that is when reality begins to change, not slowly but suddenly, in ways that feel effortless and even miraculous. So what does it look like when you upgrade to the quantum model? Imagine for a moment that the universe is not a distant force responding slowly to your requests, but a living field that is constantly interacting with you right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. This field does not wait for a calendar date to deliver. It responds instantly to the energy you are embodying in this moment. And in the quantum model of creation, this is not just a poetic idea, it is a reality backed by science. The old, linear cause and effect worldview says, take action, then wait for results. The quantum paradigm says, shift your state and reality reshapes itself to match. Instead of moving step by step toward your goal, you step into the version of you who already lives in that reality, and the field organizes itself around your new identity. To understand why, we have to remember what quantum physics reveals about the nature of reality. At the deepest level, everything you see is energy vibrating at different frequencies. These frequencies do not just exist out there, they interact with the observer. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are all patterns of energy, and the field responds to them like a mirror. This means that when you think about a desired outcome, you are not simply imagining something that does not exist yet. You are connecting with a version of reality where it already exists. The quantum field holds infinite possibilities, and your focus selects which one you collapse into physical form. Here is the key in the Newtonian worldview: you create through force and effort. In the quantum worldview, you create through alignment and coherence. Your job is not to push matter around, but to become such a perfect match to the reality you want that it becomes the only outcome the field can reflect back to you. This is why identity is so important. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, who tries to manifest but never fully succeeds, you will continue to broadcast that identity into the field, and reality will faithfully match it. But when you shift to the identity of someone for whom your desire is normal and natural, your outer world has no choice but to reorganize. You are not a passive observer, you are a participant in the universe's unfolding. This is not metaphor. Experiments have shown that consciousness influences physical systems. Your awareness does not just notice reality, it shapes it. When you truly understand this, you stop waiting for external signs and start becoming the sign. In this new paradigm, the question is never, "How do I get this?" It becomes, "Who must I be right now for this reality to be inevitable?" And once you answer that, you step into the frequency of the version of you who already has it. You speak like them, think like them, feel like them. Not to pretend, but to tune your energy to match theirs, because they are you in another timeline, and the quantum field can bridge that gap in an instant. Of course, this requires more than surface-level thinking. You cannot hold the energy of your desired reality for 5 minutes a day and spend the rest of the day reinforcing your current limitations. The field responds to the totality of your being, not to brief moments of intention. The more consistent your alignment, the faster the shift. This is where the science and the spirituality meet. Quantum theory provides the framework. Everything exists as energy, every possibility is available, and observation shapes outcomes. Spiritual traditions provide the practice. Live as the embodiment of your desired state, hold unwavering faith, and align your actions with your truth. Together they form a complete system for creating your reality, not as a random miracle, but as a predictable result of who you are being. And here is the beautiful paradox. When you live this way, you stop obsessing over when and how your desire will arrive. You no longer cling to it with desperation. You move through your days knowing that it is already yours on an energetic level, and that certainty draws it into form with elegance and speed. This is the quantum shift. The moment you realize you do not have to chase your reality, you can invite it, embody it, and watch it unfold. And once you step into this paradigm, there is no going back to the old mechanical way of creating. And one of the most powerful ways to interact with this field is through frequency. Everything in existence vibrates. From the smallest subatomic particle to the largest galaxy, all matter and energy oscillates at specific frequencies. This is not spiritual metaphor. It is physics, and you are no exception. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions, your very state of being emit a measurable vibrational signature. This frequency is your personal broadcast into the quantum field, and it is the single most important factor in what you experience in life. Think of the quantum field as an infinite radio spectrum, holding every possible station, every possible reality, all at once. Your frequency is the dial. When you tune yourself to a specific station, you do not create the music, you simply access it. In the same way you do not force your desired reality into existence, you align your frequency with the version of reality where it is already real. But here is the challenge. Most people try to manifest from a frequency that does not match their desire. They think about abundance while feeling scarcity. They imagine love while carrying the energy of loneliness. They affirm success while vibrating with fear of failure. And the quantum field, which responds only to the frequency you actually embody, continues to reflect back circumstances that match your dominant vibration. This is why you have heard the saying, you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. Want is a mental signal, frequency is an energetic fact, and the field responds to fact. So how do you shift your frequency? It begins with awareness. In any moment, your state of being is the sum total of your thoughts, emotions, and physical energy. When you feel joy, gratitude, and love, your frequency rises into coherence with higher possibilities. When you feel fear, resentment, or self-doubt, your frequency drops into alignment with limitation. The shift is instantaneous, and so is the signal you are sending. Emotions are the fastest way to tune your field. Science has shown that emotions are not just chemical reactions in the brain, they are electromagnetic signals measurable in and around the body. Positive, elevated emotions like gratitude and compassion create a harmonious, ordered signal. Coherent signals influence the quantum field more effectively because they are steady, clear, and consistent. This is why gratitude practices are so powerful, not because they make the universe happy, but because they change your frequency into one that matches the outcomes you desire. When you feel grateful for something before it arrives, you are broadcasting the same vibrational signature you would emit if it were already here. In quantum terms, you are merging timelines. Your thoughts also matter, but not in isolation. Thoughts are electrical signals, while emotions are magnetic. Together they form an electromagnetic field that extends beyond your body and interacts with the larger field around you. Thoughts without emotion have little magnetism. Emotion without focus has little direction. Frequency mastery means combining both in a coherent way. Here is a powerful affirmation to anchor this understanding. I am the frequency of what I desire. Say it not as a wish, but as a declaration. Feel it. Let the emotion of already having it flood your body. This is not pretending, it is tuning. But let us address a common mistake. Many people try to raise their frequency by ignoring or suppressing negative emotions. This creates a split in your energy. The hidden feelings continue to broadcast their signal, often louder than the surface positivity. True frequency shift is not about denial, it is about integration. Acknowledge the emotion, feel it fully, and choose to shift with intention. You can also tune your frequency through your environment. Music, nature, movement, the people you spend time with, all of these influence your vibrational state. If you constantly surround yourself with environments that pull you into stress or negativity, it is like trying to tune into a clear station while standing next to static interference. The more often you align your frequency with your desired reality, the more it becomes your baseline. At first it may feel like practice, intentional, deliberate. Over time it becomes your default state, and the quantum field responds without resistance. And here is the beauty. Once you are tuned, life begins to feel effortless. Opportunities appear without you chasing them. Synchronicities multiply. Your outer world starts to mirror your inner state with uncanny precision. This is not coincidence. It is physics in motion. But frequency alone is not enough. You must also direct it with intention. At the heart of quantum physics lies one of its most revolutionary discoveries, the observer effect. This principle reveals that the act of observation itself changes the outcome of what is being observed. In other words, reality does not exist in a fixed state, independent of you. It takes form in response to your attention. This was first made famous through the double-slit experiment, where scientists fired particles through two slits to see how they would behave. When no one observed the particles, they acted like waves, spreading out into multiple possibilities. But the moment they were observed, they collapsed into a single pattern, behaving like particles. It was as if the universe waited for a conscious witness before deciding what to become. Now pause and let that sink in. Your awareness does not just register reality, it shapes it. Every time you focus on something, you are participating in its creation, and this is not limited to laboratory experiments. It is happening in your life every moment. Conscious intention is how you use this power deliberately. Intention is more than a passing wish or a hopeful thought. It is a focused, coherent signal that instructs the quantum field on which potential to collapse into physical reality. Without intention, your focus scatters. Your energy diffuses across countless possibilities, and reality reflects that lack of clarity back to you. Think of your intention as a laser beam. Light scattered in all directions has little impact, but light concentrated into a single beam can cut through steel. In the same way, when your awareness is concentrated on a single, chosen outcome, with both thought and emotion aligned, it exerts a far stronger influence on the field than 100 scattered desires. This is why casual daydreaming does not always create change. Daydreams are soft, unfocused waves in the field. Intention, on the other hand, is a deliberate choice to select one possibility and invite it into form. When you combine clear mental imagery, elevated emotion, and unwavering focus, you are essentially collapsing the quantum wave into the reality you have chosen. But there is a subtlety here. Intention is not about controlling every detail or forcing events to unfold in a specific way. That level of control comes from fear, and fear broadcasts incoherence into the field. True conscious intention works by defining the essence of what you choose, the feeling, the state, the experience, and allowing the infinite intelligence of the field to organize the details in the most elegant way. This is where science meets spiritual wisdom. Ancient teachings spoke of prayer, meditation, and focused will as ways to speak to the universe. Quantum physics gives us the language to understand how this works. Consciousness interacts with probability, and your intention influences which probabilities become real. Ask yourself, what reality are you choosing with your focus right now? Are you giving most of your attention to fears, limitations, and what could go wrong? Or are you consistently feeding the reality you want to live in? Every moment you choose one over the other, you send instructions to the field. And here is the part that is often overlooked. The field responds to consistency. One powerful burst of intention is good, but sustained, repeated focus is transformational. Each time you return your awareness to your chosen reality, you reinforce its probability until it becomes the dominant pattern. You can begin using the observer effect in your daily life right now. The next time you feel doubt creeping in, pause, close your eyes. Recall your intention, not as something you are waiting for, but as something you are observing into existence. See it clearly, feel it deeply. Know it is already real in the quantum field, and your focus is what is drawing it into physical form. This is not a metaphorical process, it is a precise act of creation. You are not passively watching your life happen, you are directing it with every moment of conscious attention. Next, we'll see how to move from infinite potential into tangible manifestation. In the quantum field, every possible version of reality already exists. Every path you could take, every outcome you could experience, is alive in a state of pure potential. Scientists call this superposition, the condition where particles exist in multiple possibilities at once. But here is the part that changes everything. When you focus your awareness, you select one possibility from the field, and that choice begins to take shape as your physical reality. This process is known as collapse. The moment a wave of probability becomes an actual event, the quantum field has collapsed into a specific outcome. It is like the universe presenting you with an infinite deck of cards. Your focus chooses the card you will hold in your hand. Without that choice, the deck remains infinite, and nothing is drawn into form. Now, collapsing a possibility into reality is not about forcing things to happen. Force comes from resistance, and resistance broadcasts a frequency of lack. True collapse happens when your mind, emotions, and energy are aligned so completely with a chosen possibility that it has no competition within you. There is no, "I want it," mixed with, "but maybe it won't happen." There is only, "I am this now." The first step in this process is clarity. You must know the essence of what you are choosing, not every detail, but the feeling, the experience, the identity that reality holds. If you are unclear, your energy will split across multiple potentials, and the field will respond with mixed results. Once you are clear, you move into embodiment. This means living, thinking, and feeling as if the chosen possibility is already your reality. In quantum terms, you are matching the vibrational frequency of that outcome. The field does not respond to someday, it responds to now. When you behave as though it is real, the field treats it as real. Mental imagery plays a crucial role here. Visualization is not about daydreaming. It is about rehearsing the reality until your mind and body accept it as fact. Neuroscience has shown that the brain cannot distinguish vividly imagined experiences from real ones. The same neural pathways fire, the same chemistry flows. This primes your entire being to live in alignment with the chosen outcome, which in turn makes the collapse of that potential more probable. Emotion is the accelerator. The stronger and more coherent your emotional charge, the faster the collapse. This is why gratitude, joy, and love are so potent in manifestation work. They are high-frequency states that signal to the field, "This is already mine." They close the gap between potential and physical form. Belief locks it in. If you visualize and feel the outcome but secretly believe it is impossible, your energy is sending contradictory signals. The field will respond with equally contradictory results. Belief is not built overnight. It is reinforced through repetition and evidence. Each small alignment, each synchronicity, each intuitive nudge that confirms you are on the right path, strengthens your conviction, and the collapse becomes inevitable. Let us make this personal. Close your eyes for a moment. Choose one reality you deeply desire. See it vividly. Not as something far away, but as something happening right now. Feel the emotions you would feel if it were here. Hear the sounds. Notice the details. Breathe in the air of that reality. In this moment you are collapsing the wave. You are telling the field, "This is the one I choose." And when you open your eyes, carry that state with you. Do not leave it in your imagination. Act from it. Make decisions from it. Speak from it. The more you embody it, the more the outer world must adjust to match. This is how manifestation stops being a waiting game and becomes a living reality. You are no longer hoping for change. You are causing it through the consistent alignment of your inner and outer worlds. And there is one element that accelerates this collapse more than anything else: emotional coherence. At the center of your chest beats more than just a physical heart. It is also a powerful electromagnetic generator, the most potent in your body, broadcasting a signal measurable several feet beyond your skin. This signal does not just keep you alive, it carries information about your emotional state, and that information interacts with the quantum field around you. When your thoughts and emotions are misaligned, your signal is chaotic. You might be thinking about success, but feeling doubt. You might be visualizing abundance while carrying resentment. This incoherence sends mixed messages to the field, slowing down or even blocking the collapse of your chosen reality. But when your mind and heart are in sync, when your thoughts and emotions move together in harmony, the signal becomes coherent, and coherent signals have far greater influence on the field. This is emotional coherence, the alignment of your mental focus, emotional state, and physical presence into one unified vibration. It is the difference between static-filled noise and a pure, steady tone. The clearer your signal, the more directly the universe can respond. Science supports this. The HeartMath Institute has studied the phenomenon of heart-brain synchronization for decades. Their research shows that when you enter a state of elevated emotion, gratitude, compassion, love, your heart rhythm becomes smooth and ordered. This coherent rhythm communicates with the brain, shifting it into greater balance and clarity. In this state, your entire nervous system is aligned, and the signal you send into the quantum field is stable and powerful. Think of it this way: your mind is the director, but your heart is the transmitter. If the director gives an order but the transmitter sends garbled signals, the message is lost. When both are in agreement, the message arrives loud and clear. So how do you create emotional coherence? You start with presence. Incoherence thrives when you are lost in mental chatter or reacting to old emotional patterns. Bringing your attention into the present moment allows you to consciously choose both your thoughts and feelings. One of the simplest methods is heart-focused breathing. Place your attention on the area of your heart. Inhale slowly for 5 or 6 seconds, then exhale for the same length. As you breathe, imagine the breath flowing in and out of your heart. Once you have settled into a steady rhythm, recall something you genuinely appreciate, a person you love, a memory that warms you, or even the simple beauty of this moment. Let that feeling grow until it fills your chest. As you breathe and feel, notice how your body shifts. Your mind becomes calmer. Your emotions feel more grounded. This is coherence taking shape within you. In this state, you are no longer divided against yourself. You are whole, and that wholeness is what the field reflects. Here is the trap. To avoid, many people attempt to force positive emotions as a way to manifest faster. But forced positivity creates a split between the surface emotion and what is actually being felt underneath. Coherence is not about pretending. It is about genuinely cultivating elevated emotions while allowing any lower ones to be acknowledged, felt, and released. You can build this skill over time. Start with a few minutes each day. Gradually increase your ability to enter and sustain coherence, even in challenging situations. The more you practice, the more it becomes your natural state, and the more magnetic your presence becomes. When emotional coherence becomes your default, something profound happens. You stop leaking energy into contradictory signals. Your desires are no longer distant ideas, they are felt realities. And because the field responds to your dominant vibration, those felt realities begin showing up in physical form with greater speed and precision. Breathe into your heart. Feel gratitude now. Hold that feeling as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Because in truth, it is. Once you master emotional coherence, even time itself begins to work differently for you. From the moment we're born, we're taught to see time as a straight line. The past is behind you, the present is here, the future is ahead. You move through it 1 second at a time, like a train traveling on fixed tracks. But in the quantum model of reality, time is not linear at all. It is not a single track. It is more like an endless landscape, where past, present, and future all exist simultaneously. Imagine a vast library containing every possible story of your life. Each book is a different version of you, some filled with struggle, others overflowing with joy, success, and love. In linear thinking, you believe you can only move forward in the book you are already reading. In the quantum perspective, you can set down one book and pick up another at any moment. The story changes instantly because you changed the page you are reading from. This is not just philosophy, it is supported by science. At the quantum level, particles do not move through time in a fixed order. They can be influenced by events that, from our perspective, have not even happened yet. In experiments, outcomes can appear to retroactively influence the past. This suggests that the future you think you are moving toward can send information back to your present moment. What does this mean for manifestation? It means that the reality you desire already exists as a potential. Not in some faraway future, but here, now, in the timeless field of possibilities. You do not have to wait for years or decades to arrive there. You simply have to align with that version of yourself in the present moment. The problem is that most people anchor themselves to time by focusing on the gap between where they are and where they want to be. They look at the clock, the calendar, and the history of how long things take, and they unconsciously program themselves to wait. This waiting energy reinforces separation. The more you believe your desire is in the future, the further into the future you push it. Quantum timing works differently. When you embody the state of already having your desire, you collapse the distance between present and future. In that state, the path from potential to physical form can be surprisingly short, sometimes instantaneous. You have likely experienced this in small ways, thinking of someone moments before they call, or having an idea and seeing it mirrored in the world almost immediately. These are glimpses of how fluid time truly is. To work with this consciously, you must release the habit of measuring progress in purely linear terms. Instead of asking, "When will it happen?" ask, "Who am I being right now?" If the version of you who already has what you want feels calm, confident, and certain, then embody those qualities now. Live in the frequency of completion, and the field will synchronize events to match that state. This does not mean ignoring practical steps or pretending physical processes do not exist. It means you stop letting time dictate your belief. You recognize that what you seek is not ahead of you, it is beside you, waiting for you to match it. Here is a powerful way to practice. Close your eyes and imagine walking into a moment where your desire is already real. Feel the details. Notice the emotions. Then, instead of leaving it in imagination, carry that feeling into your daily actions. Speak, move, and decide as though that moment were unfolding now. You are not bringing it closer, you are stepping into it. When you master this, you will see that manifestation is not about moving forward in time to reach your goal. It is about shifting into the point on the timeless map where your goal already exists. And when you do that, life begins to deliver experiences in ways that seem almost impossible by ordinary logic. What if your future self is already living the reality you desire, right now? But before you can fully align, you must dissolve hidden resistance. Even when you understand the quantum field, even when you know how to align your frequency, there can still be an invisible force holding you back, and that force lives in your subconscious mind. The subconscious is like the operating system of your life. It runs silently in the background, shaping 95% of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. And if its programming contradicts your conscious desires, it will quietly override them every time. This is why someone can affirm abundance while constantly attracting scarcity, or visualize love while finding themselves in the same patterns of disappointment. The conscious mind says, "I want this," but the subconscious carries years of beliefs, experiences, and emotional imprints saying, "It is not safe, it is not possible, or I do not deserve it." The quantum field responds to your dominant vibration, and your subconscious beliefs generate that vibration far more consistently than your conscious intentions. These beliefs often take root early in life. A careless comment from a parent, a failure in school, a moment of rejection. The subconscious records these events and builds protective rules around them. Over time, those rules become your truth, even if they no longer serve you. And because the subconscious operates below awareness, you may not even realize you are living inside them. The first step to breaking free is awareness. Start noticing patterns. Do certain desires always feel just out of reach? Do you sabotage opportunities without knowing why? These are signals of subconscious resistance. Pay attention to the emotions that arise when you imagine having your desire. Excitement mixed with fear, joy tinged with doubt. Those emotions reveal the beliefs beneath. Once you have identified them, the next step is to bring them into the light. Write them down. Speak them aloud. The act of conscious acknowledgement begins to loosen their hold. You cannot transform what you refuse to see. Now comes reprogramming. The subconscious learns through repetition and emotional impact. Just as it was shaped by repeated experiences in the past, it can be reshaped by consistent new experiences now. Visualization, affirmations, and guided meditation can all be effective, but only when paired with genuine emotional engagement. Simply saying "I am worthy" without feeling it won't change the deep pattern. You must connect the statement with an elevated emotion, such as gratitude or love, so the subconscious accepts it as real. Another powerful tool is pattern interruption. When you catch yourself acting from an old belief, hesitating, doubting, shrinking, pause, take a breath. Choose a different action, even if it is small. Every time you do this, you weaken the old neural pathway and strengthen a new one. Over time, the new pattern becomes your default. Energy work can also help dissolve resistance. Practices like breathwork, EFT tapping, or somatic release techniques allow stored emotional energy to move out of the body. Remember, beliefs are not just mental. They are stored in your nervous system, shaping your state at every moment. Clearing them creates space for new alignment. And here is the truth. The subconscious is not your enemy. It is a loyal protector, doing its best to keep you safe based on outdated data. When you approach it with compassion instead of frustration, it becomes an ally. You can say to yourself, I release what no longer serves me. I choose beliefs that align with my highest self. Repeating this with sincerity and feeling sends a new signal to both your mind and the field. Breaking free from subconscious resistance does not happen in a single moment, but each shift you make changes your broadcast. As resistance dissolves, your energy becomes clearer, your frequency more coherent, and the quantum field can finally respond without interference. Once you have cleared that inner static, you are ready to apply quantum manifestation techniques in daily life. Now that you have cleared the inner resistance and understand the science behind the field, it is time to move from theory into practice. Quantum manifestation is not about rigid rituals or superstition. It is about intentionally working with the mechanics of energy, thought, and emotion in a way that aligns you with the reality you choose. When you do this consistently, the shift from possibility to physical form becomes not just possible but inevitable. The first technique is quantum visualization. This is not about daydreaming or vague imagining. It is a targeted engagement with the quantum field. Begin by entering a calm, coherent state through heart-focused breathing. Once your mind and body are aligned, bring to mind your chosen reality. See it in vivid detail. Engage all your senses. What do you hear, smell, touch, taste, and see in this reality? Most importantly, feel the emotions you would feel if it were real now. Hold this state for several minutes, not as a hope, but as a present truth. In quantum terms, you are aligning with the frequency of that reality and rehearsing it into your subconscious. The second technique is frequency tuning. Remember, the field responds to what you are, not what you want. Identify the core emotion of your desired reality. Maybe it is freedom, love, confidence, or abundance. Then, intentionally generate that emotion in the present moment. Music, movement, nature, or recalling powerful memories can all help you access it. The more you practice sustaining this emotion, the more your baseline frequency shifts to match the reality you seek. Next is micro-intentions. These are small, deliberate choices you make throughout the day that align with your desired identity. If you are manifesting health, you choose foods and activities that reflect that reality. If you are manifesting financial abundance, you make decisions with the mindset of someone who is already financially free. Micro-intentions bridge the gap between the energetic and the physical, sending a constant reinforcement to the field. This is who I am. Another powerful method is the observer practice. Throughout your day, pause to notice where your attention is. Are you observing from a state of lack, constantly checking for signs of your manifestation, or are you observing as if it is already done? Shift your inner narration. Instead of, I hope this happens, think and feel, this is my reality unfolding. Every observation is a choice point in the field, and choosing from completion accelerates the collapse of that outcome into form. You can also work with nighttime programming. The moments before sleep are a gateway into the subconscious. As you drift into rest, your brain waves slow and your subconscious becomes highly receptive. Use this time to visualize your desired reality, speak affirmations, or replay memories of success and gratitude. This embeds your chosen frequency deeply into your subconscious, where it will continue broadcasting even while you sleep. Consistency is crucial. Quantum manifestation is not about doing a technique once and then waiting. It is about living as the embodiment of your desired reality day after day. This is why these practices are designed to be integrated into your daily rhythm rather than confined to a single manifestation session. Along the way, watch for synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that signal alignment. A conversation, a sudden opportunity, a piece of information appearing at the perfect time. These are the universe's way of showing you that your broadcast is being received. When they happen, acknowledge them with gratitude. Gratitude amplifies the signal and strengthens the feedback loop between you and the field. And remember, patience in this work is not passive waiting. It is active trust. You know the outcome exists. You know you are tuned to it. So you release the need to control the how and when. This relaxed certainty allows the quantum field to arrange events in ways that often surpass your imagination. Here is your interactive challenge. Choose one of these techniques: visualization, frequency tuning, micro-intentions, observer practice, or nighttime programming, and commit to it for the next 7 days. Fully immerse yourself in the state it generates. Notice how your inner world shifts, and pay attention to how your outer world begins to respond. Yet, techniques alone are not enough without integration. Lasting transformation does not come from knowing a handful of techniques. It comes from living them until they become part of who you are. Quantum manifestation is not just a spiritual philosophy and not just a scientific model. It is the fusion of both into a daily way of being. When you merge the clarity of science with the devotion of spirit, your alignment becomes unshakable. Science gives you the framework. It tells you that reality is energy, that observation shapes outcomes, that your frequency broadcasts into the quantum field. It offers evidence, repeatable principles, and a structure you can rely on. Spirit gives you the heart, the deep trust, the surrender, the intuitive knowing that you are connected to something far greater than yourself. Alone, each is powerful. Together they create a complete path where reason and faith move in harmony. To integrate them, begin by holding two truths at once. You are both a scientist and a mystic. The scientist in you observes, measures, and refines. You notice the patterns in your thoughts, emotions, and results. You treat your life as a living experiment, asking, what happens when I shift this belief, when I sustain this frequency? The mystic in you trusts the unseen, listens to intuition, and surrenders the need to control every detail. You allow the field's intelligence to surprise you. This balance keeps you from falling into extremes. Relying only on science can make manifestation feel mechanical, stripping it of magic. Leaning only on spirit can lead to passivity, waiting for the universe without taking aligned action. Integration means you use the science to understand the how and the spirit to trust the when and how much more beautifully it can unfold. A practical way to embody this is to blend measurable habits with intuitive practices. For example, you might set a daily 10-minute visualization session at the same time each morning. The scientist in you tracks the consistency. Then you spend a few minutes in silent meditation afterward, letting go of all structure, simply listening for any guidance or impressions that arise. The mystic in you follows where they lead. Gratitude is one of the most effective bridges between science and spirit. Scientifically, it shifts your brain chemistry, calms your nervous system, and raises your vibrational frequency. Spiritually, it opens your heart, deepens your connection to the field, and affirms that you already live in abundance. Practice it both as a measurable habit and as a heartfelt ritual. As you integrate, pay attention to feedback from the field. Science calls this data, spirit calls it signs. If something consistently uplifts you and leads to synchronicities, keep doing it. If something feels heavy, forced, or disconnected, adjust. Your outer results are the reflection of your inner alignment. They will tell you when you are on the right path. And perhaps the most important integration is in your identity. Stop seeing science and spirit as separate domains you switch between. See yourself as a unified being who naturally embodies both. When you visualize, you are not just doing a technique. You are participating in the physics of reality while honoring the sacred act of creation. When you meditate, you are not taking a break. You are stabilizing your frequency in a measurable way while opening to infinite intelligence. This is how change becomes lasting. You stop thinking of manifestation as something you do and start seeing it as who you are. It is not an occasional practice. It is a state of being, awake to the science of reality, attuned to the spirit that animates it. How can you live each day as both scientist and mystic? The answer lies in embodiment. There comes a point in your manifestation journey when visualizing, affirming, and practicing alignment are no longer enough. You must step into the embodiment phase, the place where you stop working on your desired reality and start living as if it is already yours. This is the bridge between knowing the principles and becoming the person for whom your dream is inevitable. In the quantum field, all possibilities already exist. The version of you who has the health, the relationship, the abundance, or the freedom you desire is not somewhere far away in time. They are here now, existing in parallel. Embodiment is the act of merging with that version, not through wishful thinking, but by adopting their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors as your own in the present moment. This requires identity alignment. If you want to manifest financial abundance but still see yourself as someone who struggles, you are broadcasting two conflicting signals into the field. Your actions may say wealth, but your self-image says lack. The field responds to the dominant vibration, which is always tied to who you believe you are. Begin by asking yourself, if I already had this, how would I think? How would I feel? How would I act? Then, start living your answers now. This does not mean reckless spending to act rich or pretending challenges do not exist. It means making decisions from the mindset of the fulfilled version of you. That version might invest in growth, speak with more confidence, or prioritize different relationships. Emotion is your anchor in embodiment. When you feel the joy, gratitude, or certainty of already having your desire, your body and mind begin to treat it as your normal state. Neuroscience shows that sustained emotional experiences rewire neural pathways, making new identities more automatic over time. Every time you return to that feeling, you strengthen the bridge between you and your chosen reality. Small, tangible actions help lock this in. If you are embodying radiant health, you might move your body with the energy and gratitude of someone who feels strong and alive. If you are embodying a loving relationship, you might express love more freely to yourself and others now, rather than waiting for the one to appear. These choices are not just symbolic, they are physical proof to your subconscious that the reality is already underway. Language is another key. Pay attention to the words you use in thought and conversation. Are you still saying, "I hope it happens," or "I am trying to get there"? Shift to language like, "I am experiencing," or "I am so grateful for." Your subconscious listens, and the field listens through you. Embodiment is not about perfection. There will be moments when you slip into the old self, moments when doubt surfaces. The difference now is that you notice it quickly and return to alignment. Over time, the old identity loses its grip, and the new one becomes your default without effort. Here is the paradox. When you truly embody the end result, you stop chasing it. You no longer feel desperate for it to arrive, because in your experience, it already has. This detachment, not from caring but from lack, removes resistance. It allows the field to deliver in the most direct and often unexpected ways. Affirm this daily. I am already living my desired reality. Feel it in your body. Act from it in your choices. Speak from it in your interactions. The more you live it now, the faster the physical world must align to reflect it. And when you live this way, something remarkable happens. You have traveled from understanding the science of the quantum field to embodying the truth of who you really are. But this final step is not just about knowing the principles or applying the techniques. It is about fully awakening to your role as the creator of your reality. Once you see this clearly, you can never unsee it. Most people move through life, as if they are reacting to a fixed world, responding to circumstances, adapting to conditions, waiting for permission to live fully. But in truth, reality is responding to you. Every thought you choose, every feeling you sustain, every intention you set is shaping the field around you. You are not a passive passenger on this journey. You are the one steering the ship. This awakening is not about ego or control. It is about responsibility, the recognition that you have always been influencing reality, even unconsciously. The difference now is that you are doing it with awareness, clarity, and purpose. No more accidental broadcasting of fear, no more living by outdated stories. You now know that the field mirrors exactly what you embody. Living as a conscious creator means you stop waiting for the right time to feel how you want to feel. You generate that feeling now. You stop asking if you are worthy, because you see worthiness as your natural state. You stop bargaining with the universe, because you understand that you and the universe are not separate. You are expressions of the same infinite intelligence. This is also where your role expands beyond your personal desires. The energy you embody affects not only your own life, but the collective field we all share. When you raise your frequency, you contribute to the elevation of everyone around you. Your coherence invites others into theirs. Your belief in what is possible becomes permission for others to believe too. And with this awareness comes a deeper kind of trust. You no longer need to control every outcome, because you know the field is always matching your state. You no longer fear the unknown, because you see it as the realm of pure potential. You walk through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that every moment is another opportunity to create in alignment with your highest self. Here is the truth. The quantum field is not choosing for you, it is reflecting you. The question you now live with is not, will my desire happen, but who am I being right now? Because that answer is the blueprint for everything that follows. So step fully into this new role. Speak your truth, align your energy, act as the living embodiment of the reality you choose. And when doubt arises, return to the core knowing that has guided you through this journey. You are the architect of your reality. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone you know is ready to wake up to their own power. Subscribe so you never miss the reminders and insights that keep you anchored in your creative mastery. Together, we can live not as seekers of miracles, but as the source of them. This is your final awakening. You are the creator. The field is listening, and your reality begins now.